Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Level Up Your Mental. My name is Ariel, and I'm a licensed mental health counselor. Today, I wanted to do something different. I'm going to be responding to some Reddit posts that I just tend to go and look at. There is a section in Reddit that's for advice and certain things like that. So I like to just go in there and just see what the stories is like. But I kind of had an idea of, what if I try to respond to these Reddit posts coming from a therapist point of view. Now, this is not me giving them therapy, providing treatment, or anything like that. This is just me if I was hearing this story as a therapist and what advice that I would give to that person as far as how to move forward when it comes to how I think and how I would approach the situation if this person were to come to me to my private office and have therapy sessions, right? So I'm just gonna go through 2 or 3 scenarios, give advice, and then you guys let me know as far as if you like this type of content. I'll continue to do it, and we'll just figure out where to go from there. So this first post that I have in front of me comes from someone called Meaning Far, and the title is, "I think I've become toxic like my father and I don't want to hurt people anymore." It says, "Hello everyone, I'm a 21-year-old male. I want to share something serious about my self-realization. A few days ago, during a small argument, I verbally abused my girlfriend in anger. Later, I felt extreme regret, but this isn't the first time. It has become a pattern. Of course, she broke up with me, but that's not the main issue. The real issue is that I used to be calm before, but life has been very tough lately. My childhood was very difficult. I started noticing a behavioral pattern in myself that is similar to my father's. He used to get extremely angry, destroy other person emotionally, then regret it later. I see the same thing happening in me. Trust me, I don't do it intentionally. It feels like there is a lot of suppressed anger and envy inside of me. I think I become toxic and emotionally unstable, but I don't want to stay like this. I want balance. I've decided to stay single for now so I don't damage anyone else emotionally. I'm even texting my ex asking her to say something bad to me so I can feel some kind of equality, but she stays silent. The guilt is eating me alive. Should I isolate myself? What should I do to change? I really want to break this pattern." First things first, I think it is important that this person was able to recognize and do a lot of self-exploration and realize that they have an issue with anger. And not only that, they're able to pinpoint where it could possibly be coming from. So he says that he thinks it comes from his father because his childhood was very difficult. Dad was extremely angry. He would destroy people emotionally and then he would regret it later on. So he's clearly able to pinpoint where it's coming from, which is a good thing. A lot of times when people come to therapy, they don't know or have any type of insight, and that's really what we work on in the beginning, is just trying to figure out, is this a pattern? Has this happened before? Is this something that have been generational? A lot of times we do a lot of stuff subconsciously and we don't really notice until we start to pinpoint things together, and then we're like, oh yeah, my mom does that. Oh yeah, my dad does that. Oh yeah, my sibling did that. Things like that, where we're kind of just pinpointing stuff together, trying to figure out where this is coming from. So it seems like for him, he was able to recognize that this anger is clearly coming from a place of his childhood. Now, he also says that this isn't something that has happened before. He's 21 years old, and he realized recently that he tends to be verbally abusive. So he says a lot of things, and I think the main thing here is trying to figure out what is it that's triggering that. He's 21, so he's in the early stages as far as being an adult. I'm sure as a teenager he was still working through his emotion, because we know, or as far as research shows, you don't fully develop your brain until you're 25 years old. So during that time before that, you're really just trying to figure out how to manage your emotions, what to do with them, what does that look like. You're able to or you're trying to figure out what triggers, what are the triggers for you, what are the things that make you happy, just all around trying to figure out who you are as a person and how to deal with your emotions. That's not something that we are born with. That is something that we work towards and basically just try to figure out, how do we manage this thing so that I can work through my adult life and not have any issues moving forward. So For him, I would say, first thing he said at the end was he tried to call her so that she could say something back. One thing we will always say when it comes to this is that you don't want somebody to do something back to you to get even. I think the whole point is that you recognize that you did something wrong, you apologize for it, and then you figure out how to change that behavior moving forward. Now, you also need to learn how to give that other person time to be able to take in that information, and also allow them to figure out if they still want you in their life, if it's something that they still want to move forward with. Because at the end of the day, people are allowed to choose what they want. It sucks for us on the other end because we know that we are very apologetic about it and we try to change our behavior, but for some people that's not enough. And I think it's hard for us sometimes, if even if we are working towards putting out that apology, for some people they would rather just not deal with it, just based off of their own situation, or just in general what their tolerance level is, what boundaries they have. So I think for her, she just removed herself from the situation. They broke up and she's just not ready to accept the apology yet, and rightfully so, she is allowed to do that. The second thing that's on here is, should I isolate myself? I don't think it's necessary as far as to isolate yourself. That's only going to make things a little bit worse. You're only going to beat yourself up about it. What I would say is to continue to work on yourself, to try and figure out where is that anger coming from, and also learning about how to manage anger itself. At the end of the day, we're all human beings and we all deal with emotions, and anger is part of that emotion. That is not something that you can just get rid of, unfortunately. We all get angry, but I think it's just a matter of, well, we don't all get angry, we all get upset. There are certain things that will trigger us to get angry, and I think the whole point is trying to figure out, how do we stop ourselves from escalating to get to that angry point where we are saying something mean to somebody else because we don't truly mean it. It's just coming from a space of being emotional in that moment. And even when he says on here, he regrets it afterwards. So I think the main thing here is trying to figure out, okay, where is this anger coming from, and how do I stop myself before I, say something rude to somebody else? I think that's one of the main things as far as when it comes to this, is trying to figure out what's happening. Whether that's, going to therapy, going to anger management, you feel like that's something that you need to do, finding a life coach. I think just finding somebody else that's not within your family or friends, just an outside person to kind of give perspective on what it is that they are seeing, and then help guide you in that direction, is a good place to start. He says on here, what should I do to change? I think the number one thing is you were able to recognize that it's not something that you want to do, like I've said before, and it's something that you're able to trace back to another family member that you might have learned from. And that's not something, again, that's intentional. That's just stuff that we see in our childhood and that we're used to, and so it becomes a norm for us. And it seems like for him, it really didn't start happening until he became an adult. And so as a teenager, I'm sure he might have suppressed these things, or didn't really deal with them much. But it seems as if now, as he's getting older and dealing with a lot more stuff, the anger is definitely escalating, and you don't want it to get worse to where it is. So I would say definitely start with trying to find somebody to try and figure out where that anger is coming from. I think it's also important to kind of see how anger manifested in your childhood, apart from like your father, but more so like how you dealt with it when it came to it as a teenager, or whatever the case is, when you had to deal with it with your father. What did that look like for you? How did you take that in? And just breaking it all down, and then after that trying to see, okay, what is it in the argument that triggered me? Is it just arguments that trigger me? Is it other things that trigger me? And then how do I get to a point where I can realize, okay, I'm about to blow up. How do I calm myself down? And figure out where to start from there. A lot of it has to do with coping skills. In therapy, we'll tell people, when it comes to anger, what does it look like before you get angry? Sometimes there's warning signs. You start to ball up your fist, you start feeling really hot. There's usually some type of signal that tells you that you are getting to the point where you are getting angry, and you might say something mean to somebody else. So I think starting from there, trying to figure out where it's coming from so you can stop it, and then continuing to practice that to the point that it just becomes regular, it just becomes a regular thing for you. That's how you stop the pattern. You try to figure out where it's coming from, how it starts, and then you tackle it with whatever coping skills, and then that just becomes a normal part of your day to day. And then you'll start to see the anger, decrease, and try to figure out where to go from there. So I'm hoping that he can get some help for that, because anger is definitely something that you want to address, and you don't want to hold on to that, because a lot of times not only are you hurting the people around you, but you're also hurting yourself as you're hurting others. Now, the second post that we have, the title is "Sounds Silly, but I Just Need Advice." It says, "Any advice is appreciated. My boyfriend, who is a male that's 19, and myself, who is a female that's 19, have been together around 5 or 6 months now, and I really love him, but I'm starting to get worried that he is losing feelings for me. I'm a very anxious person, and it doesn't help that we have dated previously around 2 years ago, and he broke up with me to go after my then and now best friend, who reciprocated the day after we broke up. He has slowly started saying I love you. He doesn't respond when he starts a conversation. Doesn't respond even when he starts the conversation. And I message him back immediately, barely text me. And yes, I know this sounds stupid. Never repost or is willing to post about me. I know all of this sounds silly, but I'm genuinely worried and I don't know what to do. I've tried asking if I can improve anything or if anything's wrong, but he just brushes it off. I don't know if I'm just overthinking this or not. Help, he's the only person I really have and I don't want to lose him." So here's what I would say. I think at a young age, we tend to put a lot of value into the people that are around us, especially in our romantic partners. I think it also depends on the childhood that you come from and what that relationship with your family looks like. If you are the type of person who is anxious, like she said, and seems like tends to rely on relationships, stuff like this becomes anxiety provoking, because one minute you think that you have somebody for the rest of your life, that person's going to be around, they're going to be supportive, and then not too long after they start pulling back, you start to see things that are different, and when you try to talk about it, they don't answer. So then you start to get anxious based off of what's going to happen moving forward. I've had this person in my life, and now it seems as if they're pulling away from me, and I don't know how to deal with that. And that's normal. I mean, it happens to people, but I do think that it's a little worrisome when people say, I don't know what to do with him. He's the only person that I have in my life. I think it's important to establish being able to take care of yourself and what life looks like with you by yourself. Because there's a time in life where we don't know these people, and then we meet them in our lives and we get attached to them, and then somehow we don't see life without them, which I know is part of love and being in love, but you want to make sure that you establish yourself outside of that person. Now, with this situation, you guys are very young, 19 years old. You're just starting off as adults. A lot of times what I've seen with young men around that age, a lot of times they don't want to be tied down in a relationship because they're young. They're just becoming an adult. A lot of times parents restrict them as teenagers, so now you get to go out into the world and do the things that you want to do. And I think for a lot of young men at that age, they don't know how to be open about their feelings. So a lot of times they'll tend to pull back. They'll tend to do other things that will make you or the other person want to push out of the relationship and find a reason to leave, because they are not ready to say anything about it or make that decision, or they don't want to hurt your feelings. So it's interesting to me that he's not saying these things, and then when you want to talk about it, he brushes it off, which is another issue, because if someone loves and cares about you and you point out something to them that you're worried about and they brush it off, that kind of makes me think, do they actually love and care about you? Or maybe they once did and now things have changed, and so they've changed. But that's a red flag for me is that they're just brushing it off. The other thing is also that he was able to go and, what did it say? He broke up with me to go after my then now and now best friend. So this guy has a history of already treating you negatively. So I wouldn't expect anything different. If he was able to not only cheat on you, but cheat on somebody that's really close to you, not just a friend, your best friend, that's kind of just, a big red flag for me. The only way that this situation is really going to resolve itself is if you talk to him. And I think you have to do ultimately what's best for you, and you can't expect for people to change for you. People have to learn how to change for themselves, with you in mind, of course. But I think a conversation needs to be had on, hey, love you, we've been together for this long, this is what I'm starting to see, let me know what's going on. If he says that there's nothing going on or whatever the case may be, I think there comes a point where you have to put your foot down of just like, I don't feel like I am fulfilled in this relationship, and you might have to take a step back. Fortunately for a lot of people, they treat people a certain way because that's what people allow them to do. But at the end of the day, somebody that loves you and cares about you will never make you question about where you are in their life. That's just a no-brainer. They will just put that out regardless if they're mad at you at the time, regardless if you guys get into an argument or whatever the case may be. The love and care should always be there, and it should never get to a point where you guys can't have a conversation or they can't say what they need to say. So I think if he's not able to talk to you about this, then where is the love and everything that is being said? You said that you guys have been together for 5 or 6 months, and you also dated previously for about 2 years ago. You guys are young, so that must have been in high school. You're in college now, or around college years, young adult. So it seems as if, is this the type of relationship that you want to continue in? And if this person continues to brush it off, how much longer are you going to wait around until they give you an answer or things change? Or wait around for things to change, because they might not. I think it's all about what you want to deal with. And at the end of the day, you don't have to deal with somebody if you don't want to. But I know that when we're with someone and we put in time and there's love and there's care for them, it's very hard for us to let go of a situation. But at the end of the day, we have to remember what is important for us, and how we should be treated. And it seems as if for him, he doesn't seem to care or see that there's a problem. So I do think that is important to ask what's going on. And if this person can't talk to you, then you need to make a decision of, is this really the relationship that I want to be in? Or should I remove myself and really just think about it? Because sometimes when you remove yourself too, it allows the person to see what their life is like without you. And a lot of times it will draw them back. Sometimes it helps you to realize too that this person never really cared. But again, you guys are young, so I think it is good to at least try and talk about it. But if he doesn't want to talk about it, that's going to be completely up to you as to, do I really want to sit here and overthink and have anxiety and question every single thing because you stop saying I love you, you're not texting me, you don't talk about me, you don't post me, you don't brag about me, nothing. Like, I know for some people social media might be the end all, the end all be all of everything, but I mean, it can be valid for some people. If you're used to somebody posting you on the internet and they don't post you as a woman, it comes up as a red. For some guys it's like whatever, but for us, we pay attention to every little thing. So again, I think it's important to bring it up. If he doesn't want to talk to you about it, that's going to come a thing from you of trying to figure out, is this really a situation that I want to put myself in long term? And now this last one that we have, title is, what should I do? Would you guys accept? It says, I, male 22, have been dating my girlfriend, female of 24, for a while now. He has a past that includes quite a few one-night stands. I do not. I try not to let it bother me because it is in the past and I cannot change it. But if I'm being honest, it does make me uncomfortable sometimes. We have been talking about going to a week-long summer festival together. She has been there several times before, and each time she has had one night stands there. This will be my first time going. I recently found out I might end up seeing some of the guys she has slept with while we were there. That made me uncomfortable, but I felt like I could handle it. What really threw me off is that she is still friends with one of them, and that we would have to hang out with him during the festival. That makes me very uncomfortable. I am now considering not going at all, and I'm not even sure I'm comfortable with her going either. For context, my last 2 relationships ended because my ex cheated on me, and both times it was with male friends. So I have some history that makes it harder for me. Am I being unreasonable for feeling this way? Would you be comfortable if your partner was still friends with someone they had slept with and you had to spend time with that person? Is it okay for me to not want to go? Is it okay for me to tell I'm not comfortable with her going without me? Or is this something I just need to work through? So I think there's a lot of layers here. You and your girlfriend have been dating for a while now. She has had a few one night stands, and a lot of these one night stands, or a couple of them, have been during this festival that you guys are supposed to go to. The festival, unfortunately, has people that she's had the one night stands with that are going to be there, and one of them is still friends with her. Now you are uncomfortable with that, and you also put in context that your previous relationships ended because your exes cheated on you, and both times they were with male friends. So I think as a human being, you're going to have some level of uncomfort when you have someone who has had some history with the person that you are currently with. And I also think there comes a point too, if that person that you're with hasn't established boundaries with that person. I think when we're in relationships, we want to give each person their respects, or each person should have their respects. And I think that comes with who it is that you are associating yourself with. If you have someone in your life that you know will make your significant other uncomfortable, I think of course it depends on the person, but there comes a point where you have to figure out, is my friendship relationship with this person worth it when it comes to causing an issue in my current relationship? And that can be hard for some people, because it might not be just around the thought of those two people having sex, but more so the whole notion of male and female cannot be friends. Man and a woman can't have platonic relationships. And the thing about it is, there are people out there that have platonic relationships and don't ever think about these people in a sexual way. But I think with this certain situation, this person has had 2 previous relationships where both times the girls cheated on them with their male friends. That already fogs up his view of, my girlfriend's going to this festival and the people that she had one night stands with are going to be at this festival, and we possibly have to hang out with them. I think there needs to be a conversation with the girlfriend of how this is making you uncomfortable. It's one thing to be uncomfortable with your significant other being involved in one night stands, and that's just their history. We can't really change their past. And if they're committed to you now, and that's not something that they do. But I think there also comes a point where going to an event and the person that you've had a one night stand with hang around them, I think if the shoe was on the other foot, would that person be okay with that? Like, would the girlfriend be okay if the boyfriend was like that and said it? And they might say yeah, because they're in that situation. But you never want to put your significant other in a position where they are uncomfortable, because I would never want to be in that position either myself. I wouldn't want you to put me in a position where I'm uncomfortable. Now, with that being said, it is okay for you not to want to go, but I think there also comes a point where this person is an adult, and at the end of the day, they're going to choose if they want to go or not. And that's going to be up to the person to determine, is it best for me to just go and leave him and then he's going to be upset and it'll mess up our relationship? Or do I set boundaries with the man that I'm still friends with, that I had the one night stand with, that makes my boyfriend uncomfortable, and let him know that, hey, my boyfriend's coming, I'm in a committed relationship, I don't do those things anymore. It doesn't make him feel comfortable with us all hanging around each other. Or, you know, if we do have to hang around each other, we just say hi and that's it, and we keep it at a distance. There has to be some level of compromise, because not everything is going to be perfect. In a perfect world, the girlfriend would say, oh yeah, forget it, we'll just stay home, we don't have to go. But she's still a human being. It seems as if she enjoys going to these festivals, and we can't say not go. I mean, she's not a minor, it's not like you're her parent, but there does come a level of respect for the relationship and trying to figure out what's best for it. I think it's okay in the sense of you not feeling comfortable being around them, but telling her not to go, I think, also puts her in a hard place too, and that's not fair. I think there just needs to be a conversation in this relationship of, why are you still friends with these men if they're one night stands, and if that makes me uncomfortable, what are you going to do about it? I mean, it sucks sometimes, because we know sometimes people are just cool, but I think when sexual relations come in play, that's when it starts to make the situation a little dicey, and it kind of puts the person in a rock and a hard place, because people are cool, yeah, but I will never be able to get it out of my mind that you had sex with this person in the past and we're supposed to be just cool hanging around. I mean, there are some people out there that are okay with it, but in this current situation, this guy is not. So I think there needs to be a conversation with girlfriend about this, but then I also think there needs to be some self-work within yourself of learning how to trust other people, and not based off of previous situations that you've been in. It's not fair when we put situations that we have been in onto other people, because it's happened to us once, twice, three, however many times. Just because your two previous girlfriends cheated on you and that's why you guys broke up, doesn't mean that your current girlfriend is going to maybe she's just a really cool person and she's just still friends with these people. Not saying that that's right, but I think there needs to be, again, a conversation of how this is making you uncomfortable. And that's really just going to determine how your relation is as far as moving forward. Is that something that she's comfortable talking about? Is that something that she's ready to change in her life, as far as these people that have been in her life? But you know, it also says that you guys have been together for a while now. So I'm wondering, these people that she's friends with, does she only see them at this festival, or does she hang out with them and talk to them on a regular basis? Yeah, I think all this is just going to be on a conversation. I do definitely think it's something that you need to work through. I don't see that it's not a bad thing that you're uncomfortable. I think it's normal. It happens. Some people would say it's insecurity, but I do see, as far as like our past situations affecting us when it comes to our thought process for our current. It happens. But again, I don't want that to mess up the relationship, as far as she feels like she can't do anything because you're worried about her cheating, or you know, you have to constantly check in with her because you need some type of reassurance that she's not going to cheat, or whatever the case may be. So I think first thing is to have a conversation, let her know how you feel, and try to figure out something that'll work for the both of you, where she can go to the festival and you can enjoy it without being uncomfortable. Maybe you guys don't have to be around this person. Maybe she just needs to have a conversation with this person, let them know, hey, because of this is how this person feels. We're just gonna have to pull back and, you know, have some distance, have some boundaries, and have some respect for him, because I would never want him to put me in a position like that. Because at the end of the day, relationships are about compromise. It's about communication. If you don't talk about things and you just continue to put things under the rug and you think your relationship is going to be good, it's not going to happen. It's like that metaphor that people always say, you keep sweeping things under the rug. One day you're going to trip over that rug. It's going to fold over and all that mess is going to come out, and it's going to come out in not the greatest way. And you're going to have to clean all that up. So there does come a point where, yeah, we don't want to have uncomfortable conversations, but that is part of being in a relationship. Whether it's romantic, whether it's friendship, whether it's with family, friends, it doesn't really matter. You always have to have, or there's going to be a point in life where you're going to have some type of uncomfortable conversation, and you can't keep avoiding it. And why would you want to keep avoiding it? Because you don't want to be uncomfortable in these relationships and these friendships that you have. So you might as well just rip the band-aid off, have the conversation, try to figure out where it's going to go from there. And not everything is going to be perfect from that, situation. You guys might come to a resolution, try something out, it doesn't work, you go back to the drawing board and you try it again. This is how people make it through years and years and years of relationships and friendships. You talk about things, you work through things, you apologize, you recognize the person who you're in these relationship with should also be respecting you and loving of you. Of course, that doesn't always happen. Ideally it should, but I do think that this is how relationships work. Communication is always number one. Stop sweeping things under the rug and thinking that the rug is just gonna continue to flatten down, you'll be fine. No, eventually that rug is gonna make you trip, and you're gonna have to address those things that you've been hiding under there. So it's best to just address it. Try to figure out what's best for your relationship, if this is something that you guys can work out, or maybe it's something that you just have to move forward with. At the end of the day, relationships are hard, things can be tricky, life's not fair. But if you love and care about somebody and you want to be with them, or have some type of relationship with them in the future, you have to talk about the hard and uncomfortable things. So I want to thank you guys for watching another video. Please let me know what you guys think about this type of videos, and I will continue to put the content out there, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.